Boker Tov, we're the last two Pesukim of the 13th Perek, and Pasuk Chav Dalet is a famous Pasuk. Chosech shivto sone beno. If a person holds back his rod, the rod to hit, we'll talk about the hitting a little bit, but a person holds back his rod, he hates his son. Ve'ohavo, but the one that loves his son, shicharo musar. From already the shachar, from already the morning, he rebukes him. So this was the good old days. The one who holds back his rod hates his son, and the one who loves his son already rebukes him in the morning. I don't want to bring back memories of your childhood, but okay. So what's going on over here? And this is basically, raising our children. They don't go off to the bad path. And he brings an example here of a lady who puts on makeup. When a lady puts on makeup, she's sitting in front of the mirror. Very, very, every single detail of her face has to be perfect. And if there's any little crevice that's off, she'll do it again and she'll take off. And it's got to be perfect. So he says, if that's what a lady does for to beautify herself, which is fine, all the more so we got to be with our children, very on top of it. We got to be involved, and to make sure that they don't go the tarbut ra to a negative, to bad friends, a negative side, and therefore musar and rebuke. Okay, he says someone who holds back the rod hates his son. This is back in the day, or how to use the rod properly now. The fathers don't know how to use the rod properly, right? Because if you do it out of anger, then you fail. Right? There've been stories of people that would punish their child only 24 hours after they committed what they felt was wrong. So that the anger goes down, and then they say, "Look, son, you did this yesterday. Now you have to pay the consequences. You're punished," or whatever it was. Or even people that would only hit after their own personal anger subsided. Hitting from anger. So an issue is we don't know as fathers how to properly, use the whip or use the belt, the shoe, the spoon, whatever we experienced. We don't know how to use it properly. So nowadays hitting is against the law. Yeah, we're recording here. I got to be careful how far this goes. But the point is that we put a lot of detail into things. That the lady, his example is a lady putting her makeup. We put a lot of detail into so many things. We have to put detail into our children to Be'ezrat Hashem get them on the right path. And the last pasuk of the Perek, Tzadik ochel lesova nafsho. A tzaddik eats to satiate his soul. Ubeten reshaim techsar. But the stomachs of the wicked are always lacking. So what does this mean? So the tzaddik, in the physical sense, eats for the satiating of his soul. I mean, what my soul needs to keep on going. Is this good for my soul? Is it not good for my soul? And not to overindulge, etc. Whereas the Reshaim there's never enough. I can never get enough. And therefore, as much as he's putting into his stomach, physical items, it's never enough, and the stomach is always lacking. Another point, he says, it has to do with emunah. The tzaddik fills his soul, meaning, and he fills his soul with emunah, and therefore, if he's a little hungry today or whatever, there's always emunah. There's Hashem, tomorrow's going to be a better day, etc. The rasha, who doesn't have emunah, he keeps on gathering and gathering and gathering, and therefore he's worried that tomorrow he's not going to have, and therefore he doesn't eat today, and his stomach is empty. That's why his stomach is always lacking. Because he doesn't eat, even though he's sitting on a stockpile of wealth, where he doesn't use it because he's worried about the next day, and he doesn't have that emunah. The last point that he connects this to is actually to someone that learns Torah, where he says that the proper way is when you learn a little bit, but you know it very well, and you're satiated with that, as opposed to putting so much in your mouth and And just to, he says, and people sometimes they do just to show off or whatever, putting so much in your mouth that you can't swallow, and therefore your stomach's going to be empty, and you won't be able to fully grasp. And that's the concept. Tafasta meruba lo tafasta. This concept is in Torah and really in general. If you grab too much, you really didn't grab anything. So you say you have 10 seconds to grab as much as you want. You go like this, and then it all falls out of your hands everywhere. If you're a little bit more, organized, you grab. So too, if in business and in many things in Torah, if you do so much, you might not end up with. But if you do things tafasta mu'at tafasta, if you did a little bit, you got it, you grabbed it, you secured it. Move on to the next one. Every little bit that you've done in a strong way, it's going to add up. As opposed to you try to accomplish so much, and it gets slipped through. It gets slipped through your hands. Yeah, that's David's line. Sometimes less is more, right? That was that's what's going on over here in this pasuk. Okay, Baruch Hashem, we finished the 13th Perek and off to the 14th tomorrow. Baruch Hashem. Amen ve'amen. Rabbi Chananya ben Akashya Meratzah HaKadosh Baruch Hu lezakot et Yisrael aficha chirba lehem Torah Moshe Shneimar Adonai Hafetz Naman Tzidko Yagdil Torah ve'yadir.